The Pittsburgh Steelers are facing a critical offseason decision at quarterback ahead of the 2026 season. After hiring Mike McCarthy to replace Mike Tomlin, attention quickly shifted to the most pressing question. Will Aaron Rodgers return for another season under his former head coach? So far, Rodgers has remained silent, leaving the speculation to swirl. McCarthy, however, was candid when asked about the future of the 42-year-old quarterback, framing the situation realistically and acknowledging Rodgers' stage in his career. "I've spoken to Aaron a number of times," McCarthy said during the Pat McAfee show, "but I think just anybody that's played the game a long time, particularly at this point of their career, it's important to get away. That's the mindset he's in, and that's really about as far as our conversations have gone as if he's coming back or not coming back. It's important for him to step away and make those decisions." In other words, Rodgers is in decision mode, not commitment mode. Retirement seems like the more likely outcome, though few would be surprised if he chose to play one more year. After all, a similar scenario unfolded a year ago when Rodgers, despite previously saying 2025 would be his final season, signed a one-year deal with the Steelers. This time, however, the stakes feel higher. Rodgers ended last season frustrated after failing to win a postseason game with Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, talk of a full McCarthy-Rodgers reunion gained traction when McCarthy brought in his longtime offensive line coach, James Campen, a key figure during Rodgers' career in Green Bay. There are also reasons Rodgers could step back. Ahead of the 2025 season, he made clear that he wanted to focus on mentoring younger quarterbacks rather than influence play calling, leaving Arthur Smith to handle the offense. This year, the Steelers have options at quarterback. Mason Rudolph and Will Howard remain on the roster, but the narrative inevitably circles back to Rodgers. McCarthy emphasized that Rodgers has intentionally stepped away to clear his head before making a decision, leaving the outcome very much up in the air. At the same time, McCarthy reflected on his own transition into the Steelers' head coaching role and addressed the perennial question of whether he received the same warm welcome that Mike Tomlin once received for Bill Cowher. When Tomlin took over from Cowher in 2007, the former head coach left a small but memorable gesture: 2 cans of icy light beer in the office fridge. McCarthy admitted the welcome he received wasn't quite as symbolic, but he approached it with humor. Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin have been awesome through the experience, but I think Mike drank those icy lights, McCarthy said on McAfee's show, laughing, "But I'm sure Mike and I will catch up down the road and have a couple ourselves." Despite the differences in tradition, McCarthy has spoken openly about his respect for both Cowher and Tomlin, calling them friends and mentors. While his hiring hasn't been without criticism, it's clear that McCarthy is comfortable in Pittsburgh and genuinely energized about his new role. As the Steelers approach the 2026 season, the league and fans will be watching closely to see if Rodgers returns for another chapter or if McCarthy begins shaping the team around the next generation of quarterbacks.